So it feels like spring, you got your cup of coffee or tea in the morning, you're sitting down looking out the window and you're pondering about many things in life, and one of them may be, what does home ownership look like in the future in Canada? We'll talk about all that and more, specifically about government initiatives, about new form of financing, non-conventional type of homes, and the challenges we face, including the recent Ottawa market stats for the previous month. So make sure you watch this episode of Ottawa Real Estate Buzz to the very end. So let's get going. The future of Canada's home ownership. And this is a challenge we have to face whether we like it or not. We're going to have a shortage of inventory, a rising population, and despite what's happening right now with the high interest rates and many buyers standing on the sidelines, that's bound to change in the coming months. There has been government initiatives into dealing with such a problem or an issue, and they're proactive in a sense because they're focused on the regulation and the easing of issuing permits to builders. That's fantastic. They're also providing funds to the provinces provincially to encourage the speed or the duration of construction process, which is a fantastic idea as well. And as well to modify the zonings so that zonings are changed to allow multi-units. These are all fantastic. They're they're proactive, perfect, yet at the same time it seems like it's not enough. So the time span it would take for them to construct with all these easements and fundings perhaps will not meet the demand that we have. As well, the government is doing this on one end, and at the other end, which seems counterintuitive, they're basically making borrowing harder through, for example, CMHC and the regulation such as the stress test and so on. While we have the positives, the negatives always weighted down and make it very difficult for families to borrow. Yes, debt is always an issue. That's a deep conversation to go into, and it's not as simple as that. But these are the challenges that the government faces at the moment. What will financing look like in the future? I feel we will have the conventional banks, the banking system, which again they have their restrictions and maybe more strict in terms of lending, and then there will be other ways of borrowing, and one may be the bank of mom and dad, and this will be more and more as we get into the future where affordability will be a constant issue, and I feel many future generations or kids will look to mom and dad to borrow from, and this will be an interesting thing to follow. As well, we will have non-conventional or alternative lending companies that will get a market share of this chunk of demand because people will, specifically with high interest rates even now or in the future where the restrictions of banks are steady, they will look at alternative ways. So it'll be interesting to see how much or what portion of the market private lenders or alternative lenders will take up. And another method would be for families to get together. So we may see, more families than one getting together to qualify for mortgages. As far as the type of homes in the future, sure, there will be a generation of rentals. I feel if we continue this way, it's just inevitable, regardless of how much the government wants to involve itself. We will see a surge and we will have more people renting, or instead of them having to rent, perhaps they may opt in for non-conventional ways of homes, and there are multiple things that could be an option. Coach housing was an option. It's been on the table for several years now, specifically post-COVID, and that's the city allowing homeowners with larger lots to have a shed or a smaller coach house at the back of the home. So essentially there are two homes on one lot. So that's been an idea that's been going around. Unfortunately, it hasn't been picked up so much, specifically in Ottawa. Perhaps we're not at a point where that demand is there yet. I feel like we will get there, and it will seem like a very good option. Now we see a lot of prefab homes. If you go to Amazon, for example, you can buy a prefab home for $8,000 to $12,000. That's another option, which is interesting as well. We've had ideas such as container homes, which portable homes on wheels. That's another option where you can pretty much have one of these. Have it made under maybe $100K, 80 to 100,000 ish, and on wheels. Have it on a camping ground, or what we call a land lease, where you pretty much don't own the land, rather you own your portable home, and you just pay a small amount to the landowner, and that's pretty much how things go about. And we also have 3D homes now, where machines are used to make concrete homes. Of course, all these options that I'm mentioning, they have their limitations, but again, this last option with the 3D homes, they're insulated, they give you the pretty much square footage in terms of functionality as you need, and they're fast and affordable. So these are the I feel these are the different options, the future options of non-conventional housing, to allow people to get away from that renting part of things, and then to be able to get into home ownership. But with all these non-conventional methods of construction and homes comes the challenges, and the challenges we face specifically in Canada and Ottawa is weather. So that's always been an issue, and some of these options may not be feasible because of the extreme weather that we face. Whether it's in the winter or summer times, we always have the challenge of building sciences here more than anywhere in the world, perhaps, just because of those extremes. And I think we'll get there. It's not doom and gloom. We'll get there essentially at one point, but I feel like the government has to take a step forward. Besides funding provinces and changing regulations, I feel like they have to look for ahead of their time in terms of what alternative means of non-conventional homes there are to invest in, to be a step ahead of the game. So there you have it. We'll take a look at the numbers of the recent activity, housing activity within the area of Ottawa, to give you a better feel for what's going on in our city. And looking at the residential non-condominium homes, we're looking at 2 months of February compared to the previous month in a year. And looking at the new listings, we had 1,133 units, whereas it was 825 new listings. So we have a surge, so there's more listings coming on the market, which is a good thing. It shows the confidence level. It's picking up, considering that the Bank of Canada is holding the interest rates, and I feel they're bound to do so with the in the next couple of days with March 6th announcement. So that's an increase of 37.3%. Looking at the active listings, we had in February 2024 1,412 active units, and compared to last year was 1,096, an increase of 28.8%. Looking at the sales activity, we had 656 homes sold in the month of February 2024 and 558 units sold in 2023. That's an increase of 17.6%. And list to sale ratio for this year, 98.5%, and 98% the previous year. So list to sale is pretty dead on compared to last year, 0.5%. Yet our average price is slowly climbing. And looking at that, for month of February 2024, $693,845, so $694,000 approximately, and the previous year $684,000 approximately. So that's an increase of 1.4%, and that's bound to change considering that we still haven't hit the spring market yet. Okay, look at the days on the market for the freehold residential homes for the month of February 2024, 32 days, and 34 days for the previous year. So we're down about 5.9%. So all signs are showing that things are moving along. There's more confidence in the market, and that's bound to do so in the future months to come. Hence, the average prices will increase, the number of inventory will drop, and the number of days on the market will drop as well. Now, the condominium market for the month of February 2024, for new listings, we had 232 units versus 201 units in the previous year. So we have more units similar to the non-condominiums, increase of 15.4%. And the total active listings on the market for the condos, February 2024, 364 units and 350 in the previous year. So that's an increase of 4%. And the sales activity for 2024, 135 units versus last February, 125 units. So that's an increase of 8%. And list to sale ratio pretty much very close, considering that the average price is climbing as well with the condominium. So 97.6% and 97.1%, that's a 0.5%, not a lot of change. Yet the average prices for February 2024, 415,000 approximately, whereas it was 389,000 or 390,000. That's an increase of 6.5%. So the condo market is moving, and it's always the case when it's relative to affordability. When rates are higher, people look at alternative means of housing, and condos typically are it. They're a good option to go for. Number of days on the market for February 2024, 53 days. So it's more than the previous year, and I feel like that's bound to change as well. It is somewhat seasonal, so that's an increase of 20.5%. Again, not a lot of concern as far as what I'm seeing with these two categories, and it will be on the up and up considering what's happening. Okay, now taking a look at the rental market for the month of February 2024, active listings 594 units and 646 units for 2023 February. So that's a drop of 8%. So lower inventory for the rentals, and we haven't even hit the rental season yet. Which will be towards the end of March, beginning of April into May sort of. So we will see the movement then. And looking at the sales activity, we have dropped though. Again, I think that's seasonal. 381 units for February versus 433 units rented, and that's a drop of 12% year over year. Looking at the average sale price, so this is key, for February 2024, $2,744 and $2,493 for the previous year, so the increase of 10% year over year. And I feel like the spring market will see a change as well. Number of days a unit sits on the market to rent hasn't changed. We're at 33 days. So there you have it. If you have any questions at all about anything discussed in this video, feel free to reach out to me by phone, text, email. I'll be glad to sit down even over a cup of coffee with you guys if you like to discuss. And until the next episode, take care.